Shake on It by It's_Kingston on AO3. Episode 3, Chapter 3. Throwing open the cafeteria doors, Luz was met with the drowning noise of conversation. Adjusting to the immersive volume, she continued walking, heading to the counter to grab a food tray. Nice! Chicken nuggets! Luz celebrated, the school choosing to serve such delightful food. Now, to find table 7, she murmured, scanning the crowded tables for her friends. Finally spotting them near the counter, she ran, or rather sped walk, afraid to drop her tray, to the bear. "Oh, hey," Gus greeted, seeing Luz approach. "Hi, Luz." Willow turned around to face her friend, patting the spot next to her. Luz sat down and dug into her food, talking with her friends between bites. "Oh, you guys want to hear something really annoying?" Luz asked, ready to recall her problems with Minty Fresh. "Have you gotten into trouble already?" Willow laughed. "No," Luz assured. "There's this really annoying girl whose locker is next to mine. She's in my math class too. I knocked her over this morning and she hates me since." Luz recalled the rest of the details, her friends quietly listening as she told her story. "So, did you get her name?" Luz chimed in from across the table. "Yeah, but I forgot it," Luz said, rubbing the back of her neck. "Well, what does she look like?" Willow questioned. "Oh, I haven't told him about her name, Minty Fresh," Luz thought. "Or how she distinctively smells like mint. Or how cute—" "Track off, Luz," she scolded herself. "She's got green hair and golden eyes, and is pretty stuck up," Luz explained, trying to think of any other detail. Gus and Willow exchanged worried glances before Gus piped up. "You mean Amity Blight?" he asked. "Oh, yeah, that was her name," Luz explained, unsure why her friend seemed so distraught. "Luz, you should stay away from her," Willow warned, her voice no longer the cheery one Luz had heard this morning. Now it was low and serious. Glancing over at Gus for answers, Luz saw concern plastered over his features. His previous glowing smile faded. "Why?" Luz asked, afraid of the answer she'll get. "Her parents fund the school. If she doesn't like you, you're out of here. She gets to do what she wants, and when she wants," Willow stated, her gaze falling towards the ground. "She can get away with anything, even murder," Gus exaggerated. Or, at least, Luz hoped he was. "Maybe you could request a locker change?" Gus followed up, hopeful that his new friend would heed their warnings. "No, I think I'll stay where I am," Luz replied sternly. She wasn't about to let Minty Fresh scare her into doing anything, leaving the school or even moving lockers. If she did, it would be because she wanted to. That was the type of person Luz was. "Luz..." Before Willow could continue, a loud and commanding voice cut her off, earning the attention of the surrounding tables. "Hey, losers!" A voice rang out. Luz wanted to punch the person who said that. Their voice was far too annoying for any sane person to be around. Whipping around, Luz saw a pink-haired girl standing behind her. Well, that explains why it was so loud, Luz thought to herself, still trying to figure out what the girl wanted. "What do you want, Basha?" Willow questioned, narrowing her eyes at what Luz believed to be the very annoying bully. "Oh, come on! Don't talk that way to your pal." Basha put her arm around Willow's shoulder, stealing some food off her tray in the process. "Basha, leave her alone," Gus said, standing up to help Willow. "Oh, little dude, I'll do what I want when I want to, and right now, it's putting you in your place." Basha leaned across the table, reaching to grab Gus by the shirt. Before she could, Willow pushed her backwards, making her stumble into the person behind her. "Minty Fresh," Luz whispered, seeing the green-haired nemesis behind the bully look amused. Suddenly yelling broke Luz's train of thought, snapping her back from her conclusion. "Hey, what was that for? I was standing there. I know your test scores are down, but I didn't think your common sense was too. Basha growled, her comment earning the laugh of Amity along with the others at the surrounding tables. Hey, don't talk to her like that. A voice rang out. It took a second for Luz to realize it was her own voice. Acting before thinking, she stood up. The 2 inches of height she had over the pink-haired girl were not enough to make her feel safe or intimidating. You don't want to mess with me, new kid, Basha yelled, bunching up Luz's shirt collar in her hand. You shouldn't go around talking to people like that, Luz said, almost unable to keep her voice from wavering. Before the situation could escalate, Amity tapped Basha on the shoulder, making her aware of the approaching teacher. Whatever. Basha dropped Luz's shirt and walked away, seemingly not too keen on getting caught. You guys okay? Luz asked, fixing her shirt and turning towards her friends. You could have gotten hurt, Luz. You shouldn't do stuff like that, Willow exclaimed, sounding angry but not particularly at Luz. Sorry, but what's important is that we're all fine, Luz said, trying to lighten the mood. She turned to Gus. You okay? Luz asked the boy, meeting his gaze. Yeah, he replied back with a sigh. They normally do stuff like that. That's why we warned you about Amity. Since Basha and her are friends, and her parents help fund this school too, she doesn't get in trouble. Willow finishes Gus's explanation, turning towards the pair. I think I'm going to head back to class a bit early, since I'm done eating anyways, Willow said, picking up her empty tray and walking away. I'm gonna go catch up with her and make sure she's okay. Bye, Luz, Gus said, taking his tray as he left. Bye, Luz replied, sitting down. She was a bit tired from school and from the draining events that just happened. She still wasn't sure how she stood up to Basha, the angry gaze still lingering in her memory. What's my next class? Luz thought to herself, deciding to be productive instead of moving around the lunch table. Free period. That's nice. Luz laid her head on the table, thinking about everything. Exams, her friends, Basha, new school, new everything, really. And Amity. Hearing the bell ring, Luz stood up, walking to the study room on autopilot. She was lost in her thoughts. She didn't know when she had stopped by her locker or gotten to her classroom, when she, trained of thought, was interrupted by the bell signaling the start of class. She was sitting at her desk, book in hand. Since this is a free period, I don't actually have to do anything, Luz thought, closing her open textbook and setting it aside. Why was Minty Fresh there? Luz thought to herself, refusing to shorten or change the nickname she'd given the green-haired girl. I wonder if she wanted to be there. Luz thought that there was no point in thinking about this stuff. She'd never get answers like that. She needed to take action. She wanted to beat Amity at her own game. Amity seemed pretty proud of that exam score. I wonder, Luz thought as she stood up, taking the book with her as she left the study room, walking towards her locker. Or more specifically, Amity's locker. Sitting down in front of locker 240, Luz mumbled, she should be here any minute now. Hearing the bell ring as she spoke. You're in my way. An unmistakably sharky voice brought Luz back to reality. Nice to see you too. Luz stood up, dusting her pants off. She returned one hand to Amity's locker, making it unable to be opened. I came to tell you, Luz said, not giving the other girl time to answer. I'm gonna beat your exam scores. Silence fell over the pair, as Amity looked for any signs of sarcasms or jokes apparent on Luz. You're serious? Amity replied. You actually think you could beat my score? You didn't study anything here last semester. You probably weren't even in this country. So? Was all Luz said, earning a scowl from Amity. So, when you lose, you aren't coming back to the school. Amity smirked, ready for Luz to back down now. Oh, a bet? Okay. When you lose, you and Basha will apologize to me, Willow, and Gus, and not bully anyone again. Luz demanded, meeting Amity's cold gaze. Amity hummed, grabbing Luz by the wrists, removing her hand from the locker. You've got yourself a deal. Amity paused upon realizing she didn't know the other girl's name. Luz Noceda, she said. You've got yourself a deal, Noceda. Amity said, reaching out her hand. Luz grabbed it, shaking her hand to seal the deal. I'll be expecting you to follow through when you lose, Blight. Luz said, not letting girl. I'll be expecting you to follow through when you lose, Blight. Luz said, not letting go of the other girl's hand. Bold words. Let's hope they last. Amity said, drawing her hand back from Luz, turning towards her locker. Whatever, Luz said, turning and walking away, heading towards the school's entrance now that the day was over. As she walked, she could still feel the warmth of the girl's hand. How can someone so cold be so warm? You'd think she'll melt or something. Luz contemplated, still unsure why the girl was so abnormally warm. The simple conclusion didn't last long, as Luz slowly realized what all she had put on the line, the growing feeling in her stomach sinking deeper and deeper, until she was sure it would swallow her whole. As I said before, this one did not meet qualifications for the gift. So far you only have one gift today. My bad. Tomorrow, you will have 2. And so on and so forth, till you get 3. Which won't be for a little bit. I mean, what chapter are we on? Chapter 4? There's 19. Fuck. Okay, I think they'll start ramping up towards chapter 10. I believe. I think. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. Actually, don't quote me on that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Don't quote me on that. So far, I think everything is pretty on par. I don't think anything is OOC. I think everything's pretty cool. I think Luz very much thinks, does and then thinks later on. You know, kind of situations. She acts before she thinks kind of situation, and I think that's very on par with her behavior with the show as well. So I think Luz is pretty good. Amity is also pretty good. You know, Basha is spot on. Willow and Gus seem to be good too. I am just a little confused on the Gus and Willow not being good people, so I'm a little worried there. But I wonder how this is gonna go out. I wonder how this is gonna plan out. It's gonna be super, super interesting to see all of this, you know, go through. And yeah, you know, and yeah. Also, Edric / Hunter, I kind of like that ship. I'm not gonna lie. That ship's an interesting one, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. But this was your first fic. I just read that that little thing. This is your first ship, fic. Oh my god, that is so amazing. I always love reading first fics. Don't read my first fic. My first fic is never going to be read, and you guys will never know because I was going under a different username, completely different now, and I'm still embarrassed that it is such a big fic in that fandom. I am so embarrassed. It is such a big fic in that fandom, and I hate it. And I'm never going to tell you guys where it's posted or what fandom, what username, what title, what it's about. Just know that it's very cringy and I hate it every second of it. Okay, chapter 4 is called, well, you guessed it, chapter 4. We're just gonna scroll a little bit and I'm gonna stop, and then we're gonna read the first thing I read. Kid, spill, was all Eda said as Luz opened her bedroom door, surprised to see her aunt waiting. Oh, so it's our aunt. Okay. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.